What's up guys, this is Shirzad talking. Welcome back to my channel. On today's video, let's talk about news from in SaGa Universe. They announced an update that will happen in 2 resets that will carry a maintenance and 2 banners, alongside probably new content as well. Well, we can summon now for Final Emperor and Final Empress banners. This video will be focused on the Final Emperor part, where we'll be discussing these new styles, because we already have all the information on Reddit. Thanks to Hans483, thank you so much for doing this amazing job. Final Emperor is a counter specialist and usually an upgrade over what Julian tank counter was doing. Well, we have 134 endurance and 130 with very high values. 116 STR is not that high, but it should be enough for what he's doing here. He has 90% agility, but agility is not a problem because his best attack is fast and he does not need anything else. Starts the fight with 13 BP. By the end of turn, he casts Stout with medium effect. It lasts for 4 turns and stacks, and he also casts Stealth on all other allies. Julian's version has the taunt being small and only lasting for 2 turns. His version is even better than Julian's that has the best taunt so far. But Taunt Julian can still inherit from his indirect version and have similar effects. Then he buffs his own ailment resistance, recovers HP, and 2 BP. That's all that he does on turn begins. Then when attacking, he casts a defense up that decreases damage taken by 10% for the whole fight. He can trigger 10 times. Well, if he's countering, he's going to trigger this many times, and you won't need to wait too much to have full potential. And he will also be buffing Endurance and Will by 15% for all allies when attacking. Same thing that Julian does, but Julian only does for Endurance. He also does for Will, to protect versus ailment. And this extra BP is welcome, because he's going to attack a lot. When he is then attacked, he will cast a Heat Up Large that increases damage potential by 15%, can trigger 10 times for a total of 150. And then he will also buff SGR Dexterity Intelligence by 15% when being hit, while also getting 1 BP when being hit as well, just like Julian. He didn't have this on JP, and they made it all of the effects better as well. Very welcome. Then his damage increases by 30%, and he even has other defense ups, this time by 15%, that trigger 5 times per battle, meaning that on turn 5 you have 5 stacks of minus 15% damage from defense ups, and then when attacking, being attacked, you're going to get all of the defense ups and heat ups easily. Now, skill 1 is a free skill that has slash and stun damage, recovers his own HP by small. That should be 1,200 for free. Then the second skill is a fast that can only be used once, damage block skill. You will not be taking damage for 2 turns, this turn and the next. And then he will also cast defense up again that decreases damage taken by 20% for the whole fight. That's right. So you can actually start the fight with this thing here instead of countering. But the best skill is the third one that counters. It is a fast skill that does double S damage, slash and stun. And then after he gets directly attacked, he's going to counter with double Dark Blade. That is an S power attack, only slash damage though. And the good thing is that even though this is costly, 13 BP is a lot, you can use this 2 times because the counter stance lasts for 2 times. So you can counter twice, and that will be 4 hits of S power if you can generate enough BP. And you maybe will, because you get BP by attacking, by countering, by being hit. So very nice. The difference between this guy and Julian is that Julian does not need any external help. Julian counters when being hit without having to use any skill. And in the case of Emperor, he needs to use a skill, but he has better setups and better skills and all. Julian was a 5 out of 5, so I do believe that Emperor will be a 5 out of 5 as well. He is essentially better than Julian 90% of the time. You cannot generate enough VP, Julian will be easier to use though. Moving on, we have Azami, and Azami is debuffer again. She has 115% STR, but 135 agility for a good combination for damage, but very low endurance for a character that could be used for countering as well. Her Will is 100, it's much better. Intelligence just 99, could have been higher as well. Turn begins, she buffs her STR and agility by 15%, also gets 1 BP. When she attacks, she always chases with Sakura Kick, that is a B power attack with column damage, blunt as well. That has a chance to debuff intelligence by 10% only because it will be rank 1. This is her only guaranteed chase, a B power attack. She also has a 50% chance to chase with Whirlwind Kick Plus. That is a skill that can also buff her own agility. And a 25% chance to chase with her skill tree. That is double S power attack, also column. That has morale down medium and a chance to debuff intelligence. It will be 10% again because it's rank 1. But the medium effect decreases damage taken from the enemy by 25%, lasts for 3 turns. So that's nice, but just 25% chance to happen. It kind of feels similar to Medea in some ways, but let's see what else she has. Turn begins, she gets a very large heat up that has 20% damage increase and happens 5 times for 100% on max. Then she gets 2 BP by the end of a turn, so she actually has 6 BP per turn. And it's just so that you have a full cycle of using skill 3 and skill 1 if you don't have anyone else giving her BP. And she also decreases damage taken by 25% and has yet another heat up, this time 15%, 5 times for a total of 75%, and reaches as much as 175 if you consider both on turn 5 and beyond. Skill 1 is a chance to debuff intelligence by 15% when attack lands. While skill 3 we already discussed it, can debuff intelligence as well, 15% only, but it's a column attack that's also fast and casts morale down. But she's all about her second skill that can be used only once, and it casts Enervate 3 to the party. And you have then a 25% chance to debuff enemies' endurance or intelligence or both. Well, if your characters have multiple chase attacks, you have very good chances of applying this so that you can keep debuffing intelligence. But with the release of James and Leon's banner, you can debuff enough intelligence if you can debuff too much, and the boss allows it. This one brings RNG, can debuff even more. It's not as easy to use as Paulus, but exists. It's like they also added this Mind Breath skill that on turn begins, she has a chance to recover HP. It will be applied to all allies, so that seems interesting. Huge chance is 37% chance. I will see if that appears on the website as well when I do the full review. Because if you have this triggering, you don't really need an external healer. But she's not really necessary. It's a character that can be used for counter if you have Summer Azami, and can also be used for intelligence debuff. Not really important anyway. I believe a 3.5 out of 5 is needed. Kongming is a farmer. All you need to know is that we have 130% intelligence and 115% agility. Anything else doesn't matter much, but he does have okay endurance and will. This character has a minus 12 BP reduction for turn 1. That means that any skill that he's going to use will be free, because he has skills that cost 12, an S power AoE heat and sun attack, and a C power attack that attacks 3 times with column for heat and sun. We don't usually care too much about hitting enemies if they are aligned in a column or in a row. If your character has enough damage, he will damage enemies if they are in any sort of formation. But this guy here does have a damage reduction of 25%, so that means that you can use him, for example, versus the Black Worm in Spiral Corridor and not die so easily. He still has some endurance and will, but you need extra protection anyway, because it's good to use AoE attacks. And he has a 50% damage increase for elemental damage. This elemental and sorcery, I'm not so sure if it's just 50%, it may be higher. Also, when using heat attacks, damage increases by 20%. When landing weak attacks, damage increases by 40%, and for 1 turn you have a 50% damage increase. So he has at least 160% damage increase, and this enhanced sorcery that I don't know, they said that it's different. I will have to check before the final review. Very good for farming, for AoE stages weak to heat and sun, and he may still be able to solo farm enemies that are alone in the stage. Still just a farmer, 4 out of 5 for farming, because it's not a guarantee that he will farm stages with just one enemy, but everything else just very weak, just a 2 out of 5. Then Shirzad is a bow user and also a Bren bait. She has just 86% endurance, but 110% will, much better, and 130% dexterity, alongside 103% agility. She needs high agility, and you should promote this character if you want to use. She has something interesting, like she counters with Beast Slayer Plus, direct attacks. And then, by the end of turn, she gets 25 points of Overdrive Gauge, and when attacking on Overdrive, she changes with skill number 3. That's a very strong attack. It was changed from E to C power in global, that's a big change. Each single target attacks randomly 4 times with Pierce attack boost that increases the damage potential by 25% with each hit on command, but it's 25. But it will be 20% damage increase only when considering a chase, because it's rank 1 only. Okay, that's good. Then she can actually cast that passive again by use of skill 2. For 3VP, you will cast another passive that lasts for 3 turns, and then a defense boost that decreases damage taken by 25%. The defense boost lasts for 3 turns. So what you actually want to do is start the fight, use skill number 2 times, and then on turn 3, you're gonna use that. Skill 3, attack 4 times alongside 3 chases. Yes, because that's how it works. So you still have other stuff like Battle Begins. She applies this Wind's Protection for everyone. You get an action order up for everyone. It seems that we also get an agility buff, and it only lasts for that turn, but you can keep getting this. You will receive a 30% damage reduction if you manage to attack before the enemy. Remember the formation we were in? And that is what happens here. But you decrease damage by 30% instead of 50%. So it will help everyone, and even herself. She has very high agility anyway. You can see here, 103%. She then gives 2 BP to everyone and 2 BP to herself. I think that's what it means here. Turn begins, she then buffs her dexterity and agility by 25%, and then casts a very large heat up that will increase damage potential by 20%, up to 5 times for 100% on turn 5 and beyond. She has a free skill that before attacking buffs dexterity by 25% on max level, then attack. You're not going to use this anyway. Like I said, you're going to use skill number 2 that will then give her another passive 1, so that you can actually have 4 counters with Beast Slayer Plus. I don't think you should be doing that. It's just an extra thing, because you want to use skill number 2 to give your defense boost medium, to also give her more OG Gouge, and then another chase on overdrive. Because, for example, you use it skill number 2 on turn 1, and then on turn 2, then on turn 3, you want to use skill number 3. And then you're going to chase 3 times. Remember that this attack has a Pierce attack boost. You're going to do more damage with each new hit. So, she counters, can use it for the Megalith Dragon because of that, but she does not taunt. But you may not need. And it reduces the stress of Liz, because people are using Liz with Karatsu Water Wall counter in order to use a counter versus Megalith Dragon. But you can now use your Shirzad, and she can still do damage and help the party somehow. But still ultimately skippable if you already defeated the dragon with your bow squad. But it's the second best character off the banner for sure. Emperor is the best one. Very good counter unit, the best one in the game right now. And then we have Shahrazad, because she's still very useful for bows. It's a weapon type that needs help. And then it's all about Azami and then Kongming being the last interesting one. If you like Emperor and you want to pull, it's okay to pull for him. But if you don't have many gens, you may actually get more value by pulling Final Empress. That will be in the next video. But this is just my opinion. What is yours? Please say here in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. And I hope to see you soon in the next one. Goodbye.